Hey guys, Hans Borchert here. So why am I standing in front of you, half naked, in front of a whiteboard? The reason will be revealed hopefully by the end of this video. What I want to talk to you today about is 3 mental powers that you can develop like physical attributes, or just the same as physical attributes like strength, endurance, or flexibility. There's 3 separate mental powers that you can cultivate and build upon like they were a muscle, but they're powers of the mind. And I want to talk to you, I want to explain my definition of them, and then I'm going to give you a demonstration of them. So let's first talk about willpower. Okay, so on this axis, the y-axis, I've got willpower written here. On the x-axis, I've got won't power. Now, will and won't power isn't just something related to your physicality. It can relate to many subjects in life, but they're mental skills that you can develop. And I'm going to use physical illustrations to sort of explain the differences between will and won't power. So, willpower is the ability to do things. If you have a desire in life, and that desire requires you to do activities, willpower is what's going to get you there. It's the ability to take action and follow through on the decisions you made by taking action. Won't power, also extremely useful, but done in a different way, is the ability to not do things that will hinder you from achieving that goal. So, for example, in the example of physicality, so somebody who's for example good at won't power, but not necessarily willpower. This might be a skinny person. So this is a guy that he's got excellent won't power, so he doesn't overeat, he doesn't indulge on lots of different foods that would make him fat, but his willpower is not necessarily there. This is all assuming he desires to have a great physique. This whole demonstration is on the assumption if somebody's desiring to have a great physique, right? So someone with low willpower but great won't power, they might be good at staying skinny, but they're not going to make it to the gym to put on any musculature. Similarly, somebody who has great willpower, but not a lot of won't power, might make it to the gym a lot. So they're great at doing the action it requires to get that physique, but they're not great at avoiding the things that detract from that physique, like the pizza and the beer. So that might be somebody who's, I call them fathaletes. So guys that have a bit of girth to them, they still make it to the gym regularly, but they're definitely not rocking the 6-pack abs. Typically me in most cases, especially after I got married, and I love my wife's cooking. So this is where I tend to fall physically, currently. The guy who is maybe excellent at both willpower and won't power in this case would be rocking the awesome physique. He'd have the 6-pack abs. He'd be able to do what he needed to do to get that awesome physique, but also not do what he needs to not do to avoid the high glycemic carbs or whatever that's making him fat. Then you got let's say probably your typical American low willpower, low won't power. He might desire to have a great physique, but he doesn't have the mental capacities of will and won't power to get him there. So he's sitting at home, he's eating his pizza, drinking his beer, watching TV. Okay? So that's the difference between will and won't power. The next topic I want to talk about is the third mental power. It's called Y power. Okay? Y power is actually going to be a combination of 2 things. So we're going to define Y power by teaching you about 2 different things. So those 2 things are, we'll call it let's call the first one fun power. Fun power. So this is like your, almost like your attitude. You can have a positive attitude or you can have a negative attitude. It's your ability to understand what makes you happy, what makes you tick, what gives you motivation, and to build that skill is almost like a skill set. The other power that's an aspect of why power is something called vision power. Okay? Now this is basically your ability to look into the future, a week, a month, a year, 5 years, 10 years, all the way to retirement even. So looking at what are your goals and what steps would you need to take to accomplish those. So having a future sight for yourself. Now I call the vector combination of these two things, which might look like this, okay? This is called Y power. So if you have the ability to have a positive attitude by knowing what makes you happy and what brings you joy and what motivates you, and the ability to look into the future and understand the steps and the process it'll take to get there, this is called Y power. That's a strong Y power. And Y power is very important because it's going to help you keep that, it's going to help you keep your goals in mind. If I have a 3-month goal or a 5-year goal or a 10-year goal, Y power is knowing and understanding why that goal is going to make me happy, being able to look into the future and keep that goal in the forefront of my mind. So the combination of willpower, won't power, and Y power are your 3 mental muscles or mental abilities that you need to cultivate and build upon. Now, I might be, as you can see in my current physical state, I'm not particularly ripped. I've got some muscle mass because I'm really good at doing stuff. I'm really good at the willpower aspect. I basically work out every day, a lot of calisthenics, things like that. Where I might have been deficient lately, although I tend to think it's a lack of desire thing since I've been married and have kids and stuff like that, and my wife's got great cooking. I tend to eat less, I eat a lot more of her food, and so, and I enjoy some beers and things like that. I enjoy my sweets. So I put on some weight, but I thought now is an interesting opportunity because it's March 17th, 2020. I was supposed to leave work to get back to my wife and kids in the Philippines. I work in a remote island somewhere, and I was supposed to get back to my wife and kids, but all this corona stuff happened, and so now I'm stuck here probably for the next 3 months. So I thought that would be a great opportunity to focus on my won't power, and I'm going to use my Y power to come up with a goal, a 3-month goal for myself. And that goal is to do something that I probably haven't done in like a decade, which is I want to get ripped. In a video I posted recently, I got injured. So I have a separated AC joint in my shoulder, which you can actually see this thing sticking up right here. It's painful. And that was about 2 weeks ago. For the last 2 weeks, I haven't even been able to lift my arm, but now it's just getting my mobility back. So I can't lift heavy weights right now, which is my normal modus operandum, doing calisthenics, one arm push-ups, things like that, one leg squats, and even I like dumbbells, and I do some things with dumbbells. So I can't do any of that, so I've got to rethink my workouts. But I thought this would be a great opportunity, since I'm probably going to lose some muscle mass anyways. Why not try and lose fat and get shredded? So I'm going to focus on dieting. I'm going to focus on more cardio type fat burning, exercises that are more jumping around, moving my legs, maybe do some insanity style, Sean T's Insanity or Tony Horton's P90X or something like that, which is stuff I've done a long time ago. So I might jump back into that, use the bands, things like that. But I can't lift any heavy weights. So I want to try and use the next 3 months to get shredded. My goal right now is looking at like Brad Pitt in Fight Club. Actually, I just saw that that's a common men's physique goal. So I thought, what the hell? Let's see how cut up I can get. So my goal is to demonstrate to you my will, won't, and why powers through the 3-month goal of getting shredded. And my secondary goal is I'm actually trying to learn how to make YouTube videos and make good YouTube videos, which is a skill set that I know I'm not there yet, but I'm developing in it. And I thought this would be a cool YouTube video. So I'm gonna go ahead and post it before I've got any results, and then I'll check back with you guys in 3 months or possibly sooner along the way to show you if I'm making any progress. So there we go. See you in a bit.